Emmanuel. I remember that day well, terrible. And what we call the pay-for-slay policy. Just yesterday, the Israeli government decided to withhold 600,000 shekels from for tax money that they collect for the PA because of this so-called policy of paying now in this case families of these terrorists. But it just still goes on.
Yeah, it still goes on, and I think it's time really for Israel, the Israeli government, to tell the international community, the governments of the United States, of Europe and other countries, that if you're going to talk about peace and trying to reach an agreement between Israel and the Palestinians, this can simply not go on. It was actually addressed, by the way, in President Trump's deal of the century by his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, who is soon publishing a new book on this peace initiative and the Abraham Accords. And this issue was addressed very clearly in the Jared Kushner initiative, saying it cannot be that, when we negotiate peace, the Palestinian Authority pays all this money to families of terrorists as a message that this is a reward for terrorism. And don't forget that the Palestinian Authority, during the COVID crisis, for example, was complaining that it could not afford to buy vaccines, right? But at the same time, it is paying for the salaries of terrorists. So I think this has to be put very clearly on the table by Israel, that even if we don't talk right now about a political solution between Israel and the PA, as we're talking about reducing the conflict, as promoting common projects between the two sides, this is just incompatible with the very concept of peace.
Right. I'm credit the group Palestinian Media Watch, for noting that the payment goes up automatically at various points, including at the 20-year mark. So the worse the crime you do, the more time you do, the more money the families end up getting.
Right. And when we know what the economic situation is in the PA in terms of unemployment for the youth, so basically you're better off, instead of trying to get a job, to kill Israelis, and this way you have a guaranteed income for life. I mean,
or for your family.
Or for your family, if you die, of course. Right. But it's just like an incentive. Instead of encouraging initiative, hard work, and innovation, this basically encourages murder. And by the way, this terrorist attack was carried out against students on a university campus. It's not that the PA is saying we're only paying for terrorists who are going to kill soldiers in the West Bank, for example. Any killed Israeli qualifies for this income. Right. Again, it was on a campus at Hebrew University where Jews and Arabs studied together. I think the message coming from the PA is very clear and very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate indeed. Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel Navon.